Hello and thank you for joining me for another episode of Festo's Garage. Today we're working on a second gen Toyota Prius. That's the years 2004 to 2009, and we're going to be doing an oil change. Something that's real easy to do. You can definitely do it yourself and save yourself some money. Alright, once we got the hood up, we're going to take and loosen the cap that you put the oil in. And I take a tip from my friend Technician A and I stick it right here. That way I cannot close the hood without getting that cap put back on the engine. Using an STP 4967 oil filter. And we're also using some Quaker State 5W30 high mileage oil. Alright, we're underneath the car and we can see the oil pan and the drain bolt. We can also see the oil filter right here. Right next to each other, very convenient. So I've got my oil pan under here and I'm going to knock loose this bolt. It's a 14 millimeter. I want to mention that this oil is hot when it comes out, and it should be hot. You want to make sure that you got this car up to normal operating temperature when you change this oil. That way you're sure all the contaminants are floating around and suspended in the oil that's going to run out of the car. Alright, so I've loosened this drain bolt and I've heard it click. Now that it clicked one time, I know that the threads are out, so I should be able to pull it off of here and the oil should go straight into this pan. Alright, the oil's still barely running out. I've moved the oil pan over so I can get underneath the filter here. And there's a couple ways to get the filters off. What I like to do is just get a pair of pliers and just grab it and turn it. There we go. Take it loose, let the oil out. Okay, our oil filter's off and we can see that the gasket is on it and not on the engine, which is a good thing. You do not want to leave the gasket on the engine side. So we've got our new filter. We're going to wipe some of the oil that's on our hand onto the seal. And that'll help it from sticking when the next person takes it off. And so we're going to screw that on. I'm going to put my drain bolt back in the pan and I'm going to tighten it back down to approximately 30 foot-pounds. If I had a torque wrench, or good and tight, which is my German torque spec if I'm doing it by hand. We're going to get a rag, we're going to wipe this off, and we're going to put some oil in the car. Alright, I've got my filter good and tight by hand. I've wiped off my oil pan. Alright, we're back here at the front of the car. We've got our oil cap already off. Before I can check the oil, I need to start the car up and make sure the oil is circulating through the system. And then I'll check it with this dipstick. Okay, so I've started the car. I'll let it run for a cycle. I'm going to go ahead and check the oil level. Alright, we checked the oil. It's right here near this top mark. That's perfect. You don't want to overfill it. Put our cap back on. Wipe any little droplets up. Now's a good time to also check your other fluids. You got windshield washer fluid, your brake fluid, your inverter coolant, and your regular coolant for the engine. And so all these fluids look good on this car, so we're going to go ahead and send it right on back out. Next, I'll show you how to reset the maintenance reminder light. We want to reset this maintenance light right here because we've just changed the oil and maintenance is no longer required. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to hit this odometer button, trip button, right here on the dash until we get to where it says odometer right there, and that's the number of miles that's on the car total. Once we've done that, we're going to cut the car back off by hitting the power button and the brake. Now we're going to hold the odometer button down and we're going to hit the on button without our foot on the brake, and as you can see, that went to all zeros for a second. Now once it did that, it cut the maintenance light off. Now I can turn the car back off by hitting the power button one more time. Now the car's off. Now I'll hit my foot on the brake and turn the car on as normal, and you'll see that maintenance required light, and it's going to go out. Now that means it's been reset. and the car is now ready to drive. Well, that's another simple job done. If you've watched the video to this point, I'd like to say thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'd also appreciate it if you found it entertaining or useful that you went down and hit the thumbs up button. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. It'll help the channel grow. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, GreggFesto out.